From 1 to 10, how true is what you see in those movies?
Oh, I would say 10.
Well done.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And of course, these are thought signals that supercomputers like from NSA, National Security Agency, they turn them into words and sentences with extreme speed, something like 280 trillion floating points in a second. And when you think that our brain capacity in speed is only 5,000 bits a second, so we can't be a match even to a normal home computer.
Is there more detail now?
Yeah, yep, yeah.
And now?
Holy fuck! Holy shit! He's right. He's right. Can I?
He's not real. He's a sort of mental projection. You can see him. I can't.
It's like a beam. It's like a beam, a certain frequency. All your emotions, and there's a beam or frequency also for suicide. But all your emotions, hate and jealousy and love and whatever, they have a certain frequency. Mm-hmm. And they have picked with supercomputers those frequencies, and they can store them in the computers, and then they can send it to you back or to somebody else, your own feelings. And therefore they control you totally. If they want you into a rage, there's a frequency for rage.
I know because I felt it, okay? I felt her arm, it was warm, and I felt her fucking stab me in the shoulder.
Researchers have created a prosthetic hand that people can actually feel for the very first time.
Military always hides things, of course, and I do understand that there are reasons to hide. The goal for mind control is to program an individual to carry out a mission of espionage or assassination against his own will and against self-preservation.
You're protecting the bloodline. And that, my friend, is an honor.
There's no honor here. Just killing.
Now, who's behind, who has developed these mind control systems?
Mostly the military and the secret services, especially in the United States and, of course, in Russia. Already in the 50s, after Korean War, the American soldiers who had been captured and came back home behaved strangely, and they were found out to have been brainwashed.
Your implants, your army implants.
The mass system.
They put it in your head to help you fight, and when it works, you see us as something other.
The ultimate goal is here. So the ultimate goal is to get everybody in this world chipped with the RFID chip, and have all money be on those chips and everything on those chips. And if anybody wants to protest what we do or violate what we want, we just turn off that chip.
And so, of course, then CIA and U.S. military tried to find out what had happened, and they found out the Russian LIDA machine, L-I-D-A machine, which was used in programming for mind control, sending different kind of frequencies and messages straight to the brains of the victims.
What's happening?
You control what you see, Stripe.
Y'all can't see nothing.
Because we control it.
When you're microchipped, then you are mind controlled.
As scary and tyrannical as these systems seem to be, none may be as dangerous as the implantable RFID microchip. Through various pretenses, including terror, security, and entertainment, the chip has been promoted and integrated into society.
I mean, the military is not for love and for something positive. It's only for control and negativity.
You see mass. Well, that's the ultimate military weapon.
There's a list in internet about major electromagnetic mind control projects from Leading Edge International Research Group, and there it starts from 1952, Project Moonstruck by CIA, when they already put electronic implants into the brain and teeth of people, and the main purpose was tracking mind and behavior control, conditioning, programming, covert operations. And it was done by electronic stimulation of the brain, so-called ESB. And then it went on and on. There are many, many projects from Mac Ultra CIA project to Project Orion and Delta, etc.
Our computers are not going to be these rectangular devices we put in our pocket. They're going to be inside our bodies and brains, and we're going to be a hybrid of biological and non-biological intelligence.
I couldn't talk. Because if I said it, it would be real. So I didn't say anything. I didn't tell them.
Now, you probably remember the movie, the Steven Spielberg movie, Minority Report. Movie, just to give you a little background, they had a special police department that arrested people before crimes were committed because in their minds they were going to commit the crimes.
So you confess? I confessed. I confessed.
Right. That's exactly what mind control is about. They can read your thoughts and your mind before you yourself realize it.
Mr. Potter, congratulations on your confession.
That cookie we took out of your head just gave us the full story.
So you can keep the silent act up as long as you want. Makes no difference. You've already talked.
And today, the technology is so flabbergasting that they can read your mind, they can read your thoughts, they can read your unconscious, they can even read your intentions, your subconscious, before you yourself know it.
Why do you believe that they keep it? And I think obviously it's for national defense purposes. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what they claim, but I think that's just a false claim.
One of the government's conditions for backing the project was that we had to consent to permitting government security services access to the visual feed at times of, quote, increased national security, which is, as I understand it, pretty much all the time.
The U.S. military says HARP is merely being used for both civilian and defense purposes.
And Hollywood is always, unfortunately, in a way, used as science fiction movies. They have a lot of movies which tells the truth. And then people can just, brush it off and say, well, that was just a movie.
3, 2, 1. I can't see.
Preparing to extract cookie.
And the problem is that the majority of the population, they go to the movies and they talk about it. And of course, immediately they say, oh, it's Hollywood or it's science fiction, and they tend to dismiss it.
Exactly, and that's the whole point.
Where are your fingers, your arms, your face? Nowhere. Because your code, your simulated brain full of code stored in this little widget we call a cookie. We will give you a simulated body. We find that sometimes that helps. Are you ready?
What? I don't understand.
2, 1.
But then, when things really do come out, and they are coming out, even with this interview, a few things have come out. So then, at least they can say, well, we did try to, when they defend themselves, who have been doing all these evil things towards the civilian population.
Yes.
So they can say, well, we tried to sort of introduce you to these technologies in a soft way as Hollywood movies. So they try to wash their hands clean, but their hands are never clean. They're filled with blood.
Just gave it Ash's name. The system did the rest. It's so clever and
sick. It's sick.
Just say hello to it.
Morning.
What's this? A block of gold?
So I think most people would just brush it off. They wouldn't believe it anyway, even if it comes in the evening news.
Dr. Igor Krayan, an anonymous CIA contractor, provided MCA News with an incredible footage. See the actual footage.
Stop nicking my cokes!
Bees themselves were virtually extinct. They pollinate flowers the same way.
I have and will do shows on electronics, chemtrails. We'll do one on HARP, chemicals. But I haven't heard one person put all these together, chemtrails, HARP, chemicals, to produce mind control. How do these work together? This is basically psychological warfare, isn't it?
Of course it is.
No coincidence that the United States began building its own mysterious array of antennas in February 1992.
But electromagnetic fields go around the world, the planet, and every single nation, every single country. That is the big threat. I think that's the biggest threat right now.
The intense energy being beamed into the sky by HARP is actually heating up the atmosphere, causing weather changes.
The elite, if I can use that word, which steers the world, and it's not the governments. Governments are errand boys for the elite. So the elite says that, oh, our planet is overpopulated and it needs reduction of the population dramatically, even by about 5 billion, when we are 6.9 billion today.
HARP is one of several ELF wave transmitters located all over the globe. The United States owns and operates 3 of them, one in Gacona, Alaska, another in Fairbanks, Alaska, and one in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Russia has one in Vasilursky near Nizhny Novgorod, and the European Union has one near Tromsø in Norway.
We have chemtrails here in Norway very, very often.
Working in tandem, these transmitters could potentially alter the weather anywhere in the world, triggering massive rainstorms or droughts. Even hurricane steering would be possible by heating up the atmosphere. Is it more than coincidence that since going online, some experts have reported strange weather anomalies, including massive floods, hurricanes, and earthquakes?
Chemtrails, of course, are often put into military planes or even passenger planes. I've seen a Lufthansa plane, a picture, which was distributing the white streaks, which is in powder form. They have titanium, aluminium, magnesium, etc. in this powder form. And since it's metal originally in powder, we breathe it in, and that way we can also be microchipped. So chemical trails can be adding to the mind control of the general population without their knowledge at all. And then that's one of the reasons why diseases like bronchitis, asthma, etc. have really increased, because you breathe it in. And people have no idea. Sometimes they look, oh, aren't they nice figures?
השובל הזה צולם בקריית שמונה הבוקר, הטייס טס בסללומים, מספר לנו הצלם, השאיר צורות מעניינות בשמיים.
אני רוצה להראות לך ולצופים תופעה מעניינת שצילם במגילת שושן, הכתב שלנו בצפון. יש כאלה שיגידו שמטוסים עושים ומשהו איזשהו, יש כאלה קאטרת שחושבת שאנחנו עושים את העננים בידינו, אבל לא, זה הטבע יוצר אותם.
And people have no idea because people die of cancer, which increases, people die of Alzheimer's, which increases, and they don't even realize that the real reason for the extreme increase are electromagnetic fields, done deliberately also to cause diseases, so-called normal, diminish the world population. It is so horrendous that, like FBI Director Edgar Hoover said in his time, that the individual is handicapped by coming face to face with conspiracy so monstrous that he cannot believe it exists.
The government also chipped employees for security measures in 2004.
We were interested today to hear that more than 100 law enforcement officials in Mexico are having microchips implanted in their arms.
Well, unfortunately, WHO, like UN and NATO, are under control of whatever name you use. Some people use Illuminati, some say organization, some say the New World Order, whatever it is. But anyway, WHO is a corrupt organization. I have myself been representative of Finland there.
Technology feeds on itself and it gets faster and faster. In about 40 years, the pace of change is going to be so astonishingly quick that you won't be able to follow it unless you enhance your own intelligence by merging with the intelligent technology we're creating.
Because the police protects them. And that is the worst. The corruption of the police, the corruption of the legal system is just a fact in all countries. Because those who govern, they own them. They own the mass media, they own the police, they own the juridical system and all that.
In 2001, following the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the Jacobs family became the first family to be injected with microchips in front of a live television audience.
We have a Florida family who are really pioneers in a brave new world. They have volunteered to be the first ever to have microchip identification devices implanted into their body.
Especially in the Cold War era when, you know, Russians and Americans were sort of officially at least against each other. But unofficially, they've always been together and always will. I mean, we are being fooled as general public that CIA or KGB would be against each other. They work together, all secret services work together and help each other. And they are not, in my mind, loyal to their own country, but they are loyal to the other secret services.